When people realize it is the living God you are presenting and not some idol that makes them feel good, they are going to turn on you, even people in your own family. There is great irony here. Proclaiming so much love, experiencing so much hate. But don't quit, don't cave in. It is all well worth it in the end. It is not success you are after in such times, but survival. Be survivors. Before you run out of options, the Son of Man will have returned. A student doesn't get a better desk than her teacher. A laborer doesn't make more money than his boss. Be content, pleased even, when you, my students, my harvest hands, get the same treatment I get. If they call me the master, evil, what can the workers expect? Don't be intimidated. Eventually, everything is going to be out in the open, and everyone will know how things really are. So don't hesitate to go public now. Don't be bluffed into silence by the threats of bullies. There is nothing they can do to your soul, your core being. Save your fear for God, who holds your entire life, body and soul, in his hands. This lesson, this 10th chapter of Matthew, begins with a prayer that Jesus offers, and then he calls the 12 and sends them into the harvest field. And the list is given, and this list changes slightly depending on which account of the Gospels you're given. But in Matthew, it reads Simon, the one they called Peter, Andrew, his brother, James and John, the sons of Zebedee, Philip, Bartholomew, Thomas, Matthew, the taxman, James, the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Canaanite, or sometimes called another Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot. Now, these 12 were sent out with a particular charge. And Jesus offers his disciples this charge, this kind of traveling orders, if you will. And he says, listen to what I'm saying. You know, understand what it is you're doing, in whose name you're doing it. And, you know, just as I'm saying that, I'm starting to get excited, because I want you to think about your name having been recorded by Matthew, that you are one of the 12 that has been especially chosen, called from whatever work you were doing, whatever lifestyle you were living. You were called by the Son of God himself. That's, I mean, those are the people we should have statues of. You know, these 12, they weren't perfect. They weren't the best credential. They didn't come from the right side of the tracks. These were people, ordinary people, that Jesus saw something in them that they maybe didn't see themselves. They were all Jewish, so they had been raised in that tradition, but for some, they had been secular Jews. they had been Jews really in name only. But Jesus saw past their reluctance, saw past their upbringing, and said, you're the one that I need, that I want to carry my message. And Jesus sends them out. And what a responsibility, what a privilege that they are given. Now, throughout the New Testament, or throughout the 4 gospel accounts, we're shown people who sometimes get it right and they have rousing success. Sometimes they fall flat on their face. But Jesus never says to them, well, you got it right, so you get a gold star in your permanent record, and you don't have to do anything else. You're good. But he also doesn't say when they fail, well, you blew it. I gave you everything you needed and you still blew it, so hit the bricks. That's where we are. That's where the church has been from day one. Sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail, sometimes we remember that Jesus is actually part of the message. Sometimes we think that we're the message. When you go back and read this 10th chapter of Matthew, you hear Jesus giving some practical instructions, some things that the disciples need to be aware of. Finance information, trustee information, a roadmap. But he also gives spiritual instructions, spiritual information that will help them be bearers of the good news. When people realize it is the living God you are presenting and not some idol that makes them feel good. Does that sound familiar? That could have been said this morning. Well, I did say it this morning, but Jesus could have been saying it to you this morning as you're having your first cup of coffee or your glass of prune juice, whatever else you happen to be drinking this morning. We are talking about the living God. We're not talking about an idea or a concept or a philosophy or a dogma. We're talking about God. And that is so liberating. I mean, one of the things that the church, meaning kind of the global, universal United church, is that we have discovered during this time of pandemic what matters, what is at the heart and soul of who we are as God's people. Jesus is saying to us, or at least I'm hearing him say, you might disagree with me, but I'm hearing Jesus say this morning, take a breath, hold hands, and walk out in faith. What I'm asking you to do, Jesus seems to be saying, is in this time, in this place, you are the ones that I have chosen. Nobody else can do what you do. Nobody else knows the people you know that need to know what you know. One of the chaplains I worked with at Camp Lejeune's Hospital, his signature line, I may have said this before, his signature block included the phrase, "What do I know? Who needs to know it? And have I told them?" So as I'm looking at your faces this morning, I'm thinking of all the people you know that I don't know. All of the people, the family, your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, the people you meet in the stores, the people that you are on Zoom with throughout the week. You know these people, and they need to know what you know, that God is with them, not just for an hour on Sunday morning, but on Tuesday, on Thursday or Wednesday morning when Suzanne and Peg are pulling up weeds at the church. God is there. And they may never speak to the people walking past them on the sidewalk down Gillespie or Grinnell, but their presence, that they care about their neighborhood, they care about the community through the act of pulling weeds. That may be the only witness or the only connection that some people have to faith. I'm not even talking about church or religion. I'm talking about faith. Without faith, religion, church mean nothing. Jesus offers his disciples instructions, direction, and also assurance that when you share your faith that causes you to have hope that this life means something. This life matters to God. When you share that good news in how you live, in how you vote, in how you spend your money, that's a witness that the world needs to hear. They need to see this, because if it means nothing in your life, then whatever you do on Sunday morning is wasted. So I would invite you this week to go back and put yourself in this story. Go back and read the first 11 names in the 10th chapter. And then maybe in place of Judas Iscariot, you put your own name. Hear Jesus offering your name as an example to every human who followed. Here's somebody that I called and trusted with the message. Join them. Join them in worshiping God. Because we are not called to build an organization. We are called to be faithful disciples. So this morning, add your name to the list and see what Jesus says next. Amen.